Hello everybody. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I thought I would make one and share some thoughts and updates. My kids were baptized 2 weeks ago, so um, that was really exciting. It was a unique experience for anyone out there who's a convert, first person in their family to join the church. It's quite an experience to pass that on to your children and watch them go through that ordinance. I wanted to make this video really to talk on one topic that just has been on my mind a lot lately. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts they'd like to share about this, but the church, for anyone who's just clicked on this video, perchance I'm talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. The church uses a lot of imagery in its videos and also in its books, like its textbooks for Sunday school and Relief Society, all those books, of really pristine, perfect-looking families. I'm talking about little children all sitting up straight at the dinner table while their dad, reads the scriptures. Just perfectly groomed, buttoned up with ties and, or, like at a picnic, like all just sitting together, all happy, passing the picnic basket around and such. It uses a lot of images like that, and I'm having a hard time because I look at those images and I feel very defeated in a way. It's something akin to how I felt when I was 13, 14 years old, and I was slightly overweight, looking at fashion magazines of these, tiny little models for whom a size 0 was much too large. I was over at the house of this lady and her husband, who are members at my branch, prominent members, and it wasn't planned for me to go over there. It was kind of a last-minute thing where we stopped there briefly. But anyway, something kind of interesting happened. Everything about this lady's house was so pristine. I mean, you could not find a speck of dust in this house anywhere. There were pictures on the walls of her children, all now married. Of course, standing outside the temple with their new spouse and their parents, and, she, being a lifelong member, seemed to just kind of exemplify those images. At any rate, as we were walking up to her house, and her yard was beautifully manicured, I'll just say that, and lovely lawn decorations, and it was very tasteful. She actually apologized to me because of a small patch of wilted flowers near the front of her house. A small area, maybe like 1.5 feet. I mean, it was little, which I hadn't even noticed. And she was like really flustered about it, like embarrassed that I was seeing this. I didn't even see it. She pointed it out to me. But I thought, oh my gosh, like, is that like the biggest flaw in her life? Is this tiny little, completely humiliating patch of wilted flowers? And all I could think in my head the whole time, brief time that I was at her house, was, I can never, ever, ever, ever allow this lady or her husband into my home, because they would probably be extremely offended and disgusted with what they saw. Now, my house isn't real bad. We're not like hoarders or anything, obviously, but, if you come over, as a surprise, you do run the risk of, maybe seeing some clothes that need folding, or some dirty dishes in the sink. There, might even be an empty soda can on the smoke. My husband smokes. We both drink coffee, a lot of coffee. There's a sign over our stove that says, "Give me coffee and nobody gets hurt." There's just a lot here, I think, that maybe would offend the more prominent of the Mormon society. I have to remind myself quite often that it's not a competition, and that, despite the fact that my family may never be all at the temple together, or, my husband, he's not a member, and he's really not interested in becoming one. He's really kind of neither here nor there when it comes to church in general. But I have to, like I said, remind myself it's not that I'm trying to be like someone else or something, but that being involved in the church is a positive for me and my family, and that's what counts. That it is going to positively affect us where we're at in our lives, not somebody else's. Everybody talks about the temple, like, set your eyes on the temple as your goal. Make that a priority and make the changes in your life to be able to hold a temple recommend and stuff. And I'm not there. I'm really not there with a real strong desire to even go. I'm just not. They say, like, well, if you have a testimony of the Book of Mormon and you believe that's true, then all of it's true. The whole church is true. Then, the temple is true as well. But, you can say that, but then really, it really is hard to just accept, everything in this faith like that. That's tough for me. And I don't really have a desire to go there, and I don't feel that my family is destined to become like one in those pictures. Whether that idyllic Mormonville is a real place, or whether it's just a fantasy, I can't tell. I don't know. But I do know that trying to get there can be very frustrating.